Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Ponds Ford International Sports Centre.
Well, welcome back, everybody. If you're joining us here in Ponds Ford or indeed on the live stream via the BUCS YouTube or Facebook pages, very nice to have you along with us here for the next session of action, session 2B. We've got 200-meter freestyle, 50-meter backstroke, 50-meter breaststroke, and 100-meter butterfly in both pools for you. We'll be kicking off in a couple of moments' time with 8 heats of the women's 200 free and 8 heats of the men's 200 free. And we'll do our very best here in the venue and for those of you watching along at home to keep you up to speed with everything that's happening in both pools. So once again, a warm welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Session 2B underway in just over 3 minutes' time. Let's get session 2B underway then here at Ponds Forge. It's the 200-metre freestyle. We'll start in the women's pool, and this is heat number 1. Four swimmers going in heat 1 of the women's 200-metre freestyle. Lane 2, Marie Lorber. Lane 3, Elle O'Reilly. Lane 4 is Freya North. And in lane 5 for this one, Evie Cuthbert.
Now we get underway in the men's pool 200-metre freestyle. This is heat number 1. Heading off in heat number 1 from the lane 0, Alexander Nunn. We jump to lane 2, Sam Hurst there, Kira McKinnon, Morgan Taylor, Ryan Stephen, Jack Bell, Lewis Percy, and Joe Neil Jones. We are going to see 8 heats in the men's. We've already seen the fastest 4 earlier on this morning. So plenty of work to do for these guys and girls if they want to make it into the final later on tonight. And it is a long old day today. Plenty of action throughout, but the finals is where everybody is trying their best and absolutely get to. And it's a quick start for Joe Neil Jones on the outside, UCL in the men's pool.
Having a look into the women's pool in lane 3, it's Elle O'Reilly of Heriot Watts that is currently leading this one. Fastest on paper in terms of entry time, lane 4, Freya North of Southampton, 2:32.82. She'll need to have a strong second half of the race if she's to catch up Elle O'Reilly of Heriot Watts. Because second at the moment in this heat, Marie Lorber of Bangor, 2.16 seconds behind O'Reilly. So coming into the final stages, Elle O'Reilly of Heriot Watt, 2:34 on the nose was her entry time. And that is a significant improvement on that. Elle O'Reilly, 2:22.89. She's the winner of heat number 1.
In the men's pool, also in lane 4, there's Morgan Taylor representing Durham. On the outside in lane 9, well, we have I'll try and find a name for you, not on the scoreboard or our start sheets, but going very nicely indeed. But a 2:08.16, good enough for Morgan Taylor to take the lead in heat number 1.
Back into the women's pool then. This is heat number 2. We've got a full complement in the pool for heat 2. We've got Jenny Galloway, Sarah Tinley, we've got Sutherland in 2, Hatfield in 3, Brown in 4, Barker in 5, Connolly in 6, McCartney in 7, Fox in 8, and Zheng in lane 9.
And in the men's pool, this is heat number 2. Taking part in heat number 2 from lane 0, Luna Barrett, Ethan
Different story in the women's pool because we have a very clear leader of heat number 2 right in front of our commentary position here at Ponds Forge. It's Jenny Galloway of St Andrews. Huge advantage. There's only 2.5 seconds between the start times, the entry times rather, for all of the athletes here in Heat 2, and it's Galloway of St Andrews that is really showing some class in heat number 2. And Heat 2 comes to a conclusion in the women's pool. And it's a huge victory for Jenny Galloway. 2:19.39, over 11 seconds up on her entry time. Super heat victory for Galloway. And after a short delay, we're ready to go in the women's pool with heat number 3. Heat 3 in the women's pool then. Lane 0 is Hunt, in 1 it's Thompson, lane 2 is Tate, in 3 we've got Rock, in 4 is Jeffries, 5 Yarrow, 6 is Ward, 7 Conticini, 8 Elliott, and in lane 9 it's Rogers. In the women's heat 3, it's Prisca Conticini of Glasgow in lane 7, who holds the advantage over Jeffries in lane 4 from University of Leicester. Third to turn there, Claire Thompson of Glasgow in lane 1. Those 3 and 8. Advantage ahead of the rest of the field. Final 25 metres then for Conticini of Glasgow in lane 7. Very, very comfortable looking in this third heat. We've seen some super fast swims in heat 1 and heat 2 when compared to their entry times. And let's have a look at the clock for Conticini. She touches in lane 7 for the heat victory in 2:10.78. Back in the women's pool, let's get going with heat number 4. In lane 0 in the women's pool, it's Butcher, and 1 is Hughes. No swimmer in lane 2. Lane 3 is Nima. Lane 4, Thomas. In 5, it's Thompson. 6 is Ogden. 7 is Barnes. 8 is Marino. And lane 9, Protsenko. Final 50 metres in the women's pool for heat number 4. Jen Butcher in lane 0 and Amber Hughes in lane 1 have been side by side throughout, but it is Butcher of Warwick that is just opening up a bit of an advantage as she turns for the final 25 metres of this 4th heat. Right on this near side lane to our commentary position, lane 0, 2:22.80 her entry time, and she has opened up just about a length on the swimmer inside her, Amber Hughes of Liverpool. And she will come through to take the victory in heat 4, Jen Butcher of Warwick University. Time now for the women's heat 5. In this women's heat 5, in 0 is Panati, 1 Greenwood, 2 is McCormack, 3 is Matfield, in 4 it's Guiart, in 5 Barnes, in 6 Povey, 7 is Hart, 8 is Burton, and in 9 it's Darnton. Once again in the women's pool, we're focusing our attention on lanes 0 and 1, then lane 2. So right in front of our side of Ponds Forge and the side that you're watching at home on the live stream on the BUCS YouTube and Facebook pages. It is lane 0, Gaia Panati of Reading. Greenwood of Cardiff met not too far behind, and those four rather, in a diagonal line from 0, 1, 2 and 3. Final 25 metres then for Panati to see if she can maintain that advantage. It's a good turn by Greenwood of Cardiff Met. Has she got enough over the final 15 metres or so to catch her for the heat victory? Panati holding on. Final few strokes of heat 5 of the women's 200-metre freestyle. Gaia Panati of Reading holds on in lane 0 for the heat victory, 2:19.78. And let's get the women's heat 6 underway. Well, in the women's pool so far in these heats, we've had a lot of action in 0 and 1, but no swimmers in either of those two in heat 6. So starting in lane 2, Maud Vibans. In 3 is Charlotte Frost. In 4, it's Ellie McManus. In 5, Anna Draw. In 6, Katie Roscoe. 7 is Lois Davies. In 8, it's Molly Renton. And in lane 9, Grace Maskell. First to turn at the halfway stage of the women's heat 6 is right up on the opposite side of your screen if you're watching at home. If you're watching here in Ponds Forge in the spectator stand, it's right in front of you in lane 9, and it's Grace Maskell of Durham who is leading from lane 5, which is Anna Draw of Warwick. But also going well in 8 is Molly Renton of St Andrews, and Katie Roscoe of Sheffield is in lane 6 and is right in the mix still. 1:39.59 Maskell turns in. It's 1.78 seconds ahead of Draw. They are indeed, and it was Maskell who led all the way, came under pressure from Draw in lane 5, but holds on for the heat victory in 2:15.06. The next heat in the women's pool is heat 7. In lane 0, KN Wang. In 1, Jessica Telford. Lane 2, Jess Doherty. Lane 3, Ella Smith. In 4 is Grace Campbell. Lane 5 is Eleanor Priestner. Lane 6, Megan Adamson. 7 is Jasmine Hartley. And in lane 8 is Eleanor Mason. In the women's heat 7, the battle is between lane 1, Jessica Telford, and lane 7, Jasmine Hartley. Megan Adamson of University of Stirling in lane 6 is keeping herself in contact, as is in lane 4, Grace Campbell of Strathclyde. Has been Jasmine Hartley, who's led at both of the split times, both of the 50-metre split times so far. But it looks as if Jessica Telford is making the move in the second half of the race here. In lane 1 from Gloucester, she turns a 1:37.75. There's a fast finish coming in the women's pool in heat number 7, right in the centre. Grace Campbell of Strathclyde has really pushed on in the last 50 metres or so, and she takes the heat victory to 11.12. Final heat of the women's 200-metre freestyle. This is heat 8. In lane 0, we've got Erin O'Meara. In lane 1, Abby Davison. Lane 2, Chloe Plater. In 3 is Emma Murray. Lane 4, Katie Rees. In lane 5, Ray Straupanex. In 6 is Katie Leary. In lane 7, it's Alyssa Basinger. In 8, Alana McDonald. And in lane 9, Kira Narroway. We've got about 35 metres to go in the final heat of this women's 200-metre freestyle. In lane 6, going very well, is Katie Leary of Exeter. She turns for the final 25, just ahead of Alyssa Basinger of Warwick in lane 7. Those two will push each other all the way. Trying to finish quickly through the middle in lane 4, Katie Rees of Cardiff Met, but holding on confidently, Katie Leary of Exeter. She will take the final heat victory with 2:10.69. Time for the 50-metre backstroke in the women's pool as well. This is heat number 1. .25 metres to go in the women's pool. It's between lane 2, Rebecca Waite of Liverpool, and lane 4, Emma McCartney of St Andrews. Those two pretty much even, as McCartney in the centre of St Andrews looks to see if she can just push herself into the front of this heat. She does so in 34.74. Confirmation of that Heat 1 result on the scoreboard. And in the women's pool, it's time for Heat 2. In the women's pool, we've got confirmation of the result for heat number 2. Annabelle Fletcher of Plymouth Marjan, the heat winner. This is the women's heat number 3. Let's have a look at the action in the women's pool. Right in front of our commentary position, lane 0, Rosie Martin of Strathclyde is going very close with Keely Smith of Bedfordshire in lane 4. Those two are going to be the top two. In which order for this heat? It is Smith from Bedfordshire who takes it, 34.26. In the women's pool, it's time for heat 4. Very, very close in heat 4 of the women's 50-metre backstroke. Attention maybe in the centre of the pool, possibly with lane 6, Sophie Snow of Exeter. Is she just a stroke or so ahead of her competitors? She reaches for the wall and she does so first in 33.84 for the victory in heat number 4. And in the women's pool, this is heat 5. In the women's heat, it's a blistering start in lane 7 from Libby Manning of Liverpool, John Moores. She turned first. To my eye, she is in front as we see it coming under the 5-metre flags. Is there any late challenge from the centre of the pool? No, there isn't. Manning takes the heat 5 victory in 32.91. In the women's pool, this is heat 6. Heat 6 of the women's 50-metre backstroke. Niamh McCaw, the fastest on paper, 33.55. She's in lane 4, but it is in lane 3. Kirsty McNair of Strathclyde that looks to be taking this heat. She does so in 32.48. Nice quick time for McNair, the heat winner of heat number 6. Heat 6 concluded in the women's pool. We can move on to Heat 7. We've got BUCS, Colwell, Russell, Greenwood, Ogley, Keaveney, Brophy, Martin, McQueenie and McKee going in Heat 7 in the women's 50-metre backstroke. Very close between lane 1 and lane 8 as to who turned first. Very difficult to see, but in lane 8 it might just be Elise McQueenie of Strathclyde that is just about in front in this heat. Will that be the case? According to the scoreboard, it will indeed. Elise McQueenie of Strathclyde University, 31.04. She takes the heat victory ahead of Emma Ogley of Plymouth Margin in lane 4 with a time of 31.75. Those results confirmed on the scoreboard. Then Holly Colwell of Leicester rounding up the top 3 for that heat, just outside 32 seconds.
Okay, so we're just waiting for a couple of those times to be confirmed, hence the delay. Great to see so many of you in the venue. This is a long day of action, plenty of heats, and everybody doing their absolute utmost to get into those finals later on this evening, where you will put the noise, I'm absolutely certain.
I was just about to say, Ewan, I'm glad of the breather from these 50s, but do you know what we've got next after the 50 backstroke? We've got the 50 breaststroke, just to keep us and everybody in Ponds Forge and watching at home on their toes. I'm sure there's some dedicated people who've got both streams on at home at the moment. We are ready to get going again in the pool. In the women's pool, this is heat number 8.
We can now get back underway with the action in the men's pool. This is heat number 7.
Very, very close in the women's pool in heat 8, and it is just about Abby Cheetham who takes it in 32.37.
before Skelton and Rodway inside.
In the women's pool, it's time for Heat 9. Victory in Heat 9 for the women's 50-metre backstroke goes to Lisa Thornley of Leeds Beckett in 31.13. Your attention, please. Could the owner of vehicle registration BF16HPV, that's vehicle registration BF16HPV, please report to reception immediately. Thank you. And back into the pool with the women's 50-metre backstroke, Heat 10. The winner of Heat 10 confirmed in the women's pool, Larissa Dean of Birmingham, with a time of 31.53. Next heat in the women's pool is heat number 11. Two Birmingham winners in a row in the women's 50-metre backstroke heats. Heat 11 goes to Hazel McGonigal in a time of 30.59.
Francis Dyson, which back in lane 5.
Couple more to come in the women's pool. This is Heat 12.
Also, our next event in the men's pool is the 50-meter breaststroke. This is heat number 1.
In the women's pool, is it 0? Is it 1? Is it 6? Only the time will tell us. It is lane 1. It's Kia Barber of Bath in 30.88. O'Leary of Oxford second, and Eiley in lane 0 for Lancaster, rounding off the top 3 for the penultimate heat of the women's 50-meter backstroke. The final heat of the women's 50-meter backstroke. Is now ready to go. This is Heat 13. Closing stages of the women's 50-meter backstroke heats, then the final heat this morning, Heat 13, and it's going to be taken right in the centre of the pool in lane 4 by Madison Turner of Sheffield Hallam University, 30.28. Lizzie Burbage in lane 8, her teammate from Sheffield Hallam in 30.52. Next event in the women's pool then is the 50-meter breaststroke, and we're ready to go with heat number 1.
In the men's pool, this is heat number 3.
Three swimmers in the pool for heat 1 of the women's 50-meter breaststroke. Anna Stevenson, fastest on paper. Anna Stevenson, fastest in the pool, 40.02. She takes the heat victory ahead of Amy Clark of Southampton.
Halfway through heat number 3 in the men's pool, and again, always fancy these are 50 metres. Never ever really too much to separate them. Possibly just edges, but Trey Fletcher representing Salford in 5, going nicely in 3 is Aaron Cheng representing Plymouth.
In the women's pool, time for heat 2. Leading the women's heat 2 in lane 3 is Ella Vikins of Cambridge. 40 seconds dead on was her entry time. Is she going to go sub 40 in this heat? She is indeed, and comfortably so. 38.98 is the winning heat time. Confirmation from an earlier event, event 203, heat 5, lane 4, disqualification. Event 203, heat 5, lane 4, confirmed disqualification. And in the women's pool, it's heat 3.
To play with in the men's pool in heat number 5. Again, towards lane number 2. This time having Andre Strider representing Cardiff, 30.92 for Paul Swallow and Easton.
We've got a full pool for heat number 3, and it's lane 1, Anna Pollock of Aberdeen, who turned first. Possibly just about in second at the moment, Nicole Go of Cambridge up in lane 7, but 0 and 2. Oliver and Jordan are both going well. Still just about Anna Pollock of Aberdeen in 36.65, and it was Oliver right next to her in 0 who takes second place. In the women's pool, this is heat 4.
Once again, just 10 meters to go in the main. This is the on the things going away. Oh, wow. 5 or 6 in London. It's a good inside lane winner here. Now, I think it's third place, the winner, Parker Cross in lane number 8, representing Leicester. 31.72 for Fury and Onyefi.
Neve Barber of Durham leading heat 4 in the women's pool, but very close to Brassington of Strathclyde going well in lane 6. Neve Barber maybe just a stroke ahead, the Durham athlete, and she will make sure that that is still the case as she touches the wall in 36.83 for victory in heat 4. And in the women's pool, I can confirm this is heat 5 of the 50-meter breaststroke.
The winner in heat number 7 was Martin of St Andrews, 31 and 37. And those times are confirmed on the scoreboard, please.
10 meters to go in heat 5 of the women's 50-meter breaststroke. This is close between lanes 3, 5 and 8. It will be in lane 3, Amelia Ray of Liverpool in 36.18. In the women's pool, this is heat 6. Very competitive, very close in heat 6 in the women's pool. 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, you choose. Last 5 meters, lane 5. It is Millie Downs of Reading in 36.79. In the women's pool, this is heat 7. No doubt about who turned first at the 25-meter mark in heat 7 in the women's pool. Lane 1, Emily West of Leicester, well clear of the rest of the pool. Let's just have a look at her time. She takes the heat victory in 33.83. In the women's pool, time for heat 8.
Taking the win in 39.87.
Going well in lane 0, Erin O'Meara of Newcastle in heat number 8. There's some attention from the middle of the pool as well in lane 4. But it is O'Meara of Newcastle who touches first in 35.76 from lane 0. O'Meara and Larriman from heat number 8 joint first in that one, and we can move on to heat 9. Super swim in heat 9 from lane 3. Millie Widdop of Nottingham in 35.01 is the winner of heat number 9. Back into the women's pool for heat number 10. In the women's heat 10, Annabel Blaney just about in front, but with 5 or 10 to go. It's a fast finish in lane 1 from Lucy Moores. It is Blaney who takes it in lane 6 for Keele University in 34.42. Time for the final heat of the women's 50-metre breaststroke. This is heat 11. In heat 11, the final heat of the women's 50-metre breaststroke, it's going to be very, very close, and it's Flora Forrest in lane 8 for Durham, who takes the heat victory in 34.01, just 8/100ths of a second, ahead of Ayana Lawson in lane 4. Next event in the women's pool is the 100-meter butterfly heats, and this is heat number 1.
Final heats in the men's 50 breaststroke. It's heat number 15.
In heat 1, we've got Fox in 0, Bachakoglu in 1, Lipscomb in 2, Dill in 3, Smith in 4, McKean in 5, Turner in 6, and Dewhurst in lane 7.
Final heat then for the men in the breaststroke. Last chance to make it into a final. We've already seen a 28.9 open in the 14 heats. Of course, we have faster heats earlier on in the day in session 2A. So they've got to go with a super fast time. And what they could possibly do here is Han in 4:29.1. Sachi Han takes the final heat for the men's 50 breaststroke.
15 metres to go in heat 1 of the women's 100-metre butterfly. It's lane 3, Ali Dill of Exeter, who is just about in front and has been throughout. Poppy Turner in lane 6 of Kiel, looking to secure a fast time as the second place in this heat. It is Dill who touches first in 1:12.95 for Exeter.
And now we can move on to the men's pool 100-meter butterfly. This is heat number 1.
In the women's pool, it's time for heat 2.
In the men's heat number 1, from lane 1, Harry Least, Jack Bell, Jude Richardson, Archie Horton, Owen Mason, Tom Jevons, and Ruth Cameron representing Bar. Now the entry times for these early heats are around the category high, mid to high, 1.5 to 1.10. And we always anticipate at least one swimmer going a little bit quicker, and on this occasion looks like it's probably going to be Harry List out in leg number 1, wearing the white cap of Cambridge. He will bring it home. Heat number 1, all about his time here. Out close, can he go to 1 minute? 1:03.49 for List in heat 1.
Women's heat 2, we got Rachel May, Gabby Marriott, Nick Thorne, Emma Freeborn, Ella Poole, Cheesewright, Wright, Jameson, Rock, and Boniface. And in the middle of the pool, it is lane 4, Ella Poole of Durham, who is significantly in front of the rest of heat 2. Just racing against the clock here. Let's have a look. 1:07.01, heat 2 victory for Ella Poole of Durham.
In the men's pool, this is heat number 2.
And in the women's pool, this is heat 3. In the women's heat 3, lane 0 is Harriet Gordon. In 2, it's Evie Wood. Lane 3, Ella Vikins. Lane 4, Rebecca Howman. Lane 5, Katarina Corrali. In lane 6 is Jenny Galloway. Lane 7, Freya North. And lane 8 is Caitlin Wilson. Half a second between Wood and Corrali in heat 3 in the women's. And it is Wood of De Montfort that has really pushed the last 25 metres to give herself half a length advantage over Katarina Corrali of Oxford in lane 5, and she continues to power away here. Evie Wood of De Montfort University, based in Leicester. She will take the victory in heat 3 in a time of 107.78. Corrali finishing second, 111.11. Rounding off the top 3 for that one, Rebecca Howman of Southampton, 111.57. Heat 3 result confirmed. In the women's pool, we can move on to heat 4. In 0, it's Wang. In 1 is Palmer Jones. Lane 2, Casati. Lane 3 is Train. Lane 4, Stedman. Lane 5, Couch. In lane 6, it's Heatham. Lane 7 is Jenner. In lane 8 is Grace Russell. And in lane 9, we've got Imogen Holbrook. Fastest entry time coming in lane 4 for this one. Chloe Stedman of Lincoln in 1:10 exactly. At the halfway stage, turning first, it is in lane 7, Lily Jenner of Leeds. Just 6/100ths of a second ahead of Jossie Couch of Exeter, who's going well in lane 5. It is those two out in front. It might well be Couch that has really kicked on in the next 25 metres, and as they turn for home in heat number 4, there is a quick finish coming from Chloe Stedman. Fastest on paper in terms of entry time. Has she saved enough to push through in the final 5 metres? It looks as if she has. It's a well-timed and well-controlled heat swim from lane 4 for Chloe Stedman of Lincoln in 108.72. Jenner of Leeds did get second, 109.26. And third in that heat, Jossie Couch of Exeter in 110.14. We have representatives from Stirling and Lancaster to the timing suite, please. Representatives from Stirling and Lancaster to the timing suite, please. Thank you. And in the women's pool, time for heat 5. Women's Heat 5, we've got Pope, Keaveney, Kemp, Oram, Irwin, Tebay, Gornall, Aspinall, Douglas and Fallon. It was Irwin from Tebay just by 0.2 seconds at the halfway stage, but going very well over in lane 8 is Robin Douglas of Lancaster. It's a great second 50 from her, and she will touch first in 108.27 ahead of Alyssa Gornall of Edge Hill. Time for the penultimate heat in the women's pool. This is Heat 6. The timing system showed Judge from Dean as the top two at the halfway stage of Heat 6. It's Smith in 0, Powell in 1, Ogier in 2, Stevenson in 3, Walmsley in 4, Dean in 5, Shaw in 6, Judge in 7, Thompson in 8, and McDade in lane 9. It is still between 5 and 7 as to who takes the Heat victory. It is Brodie Judge of Durham in lane 7 in 104.88. Could we have a representative from Cardiff to the timing suite immediately, please? A representative from Cardiff to the timing suite, please. Thank you. Time for the final women's 100-meter butterfly heat. This is Heat 7. In lane 0 is Prutsenko, in 1 Ponting, lane 2 Holguin, in lane 3 is Hammond, lane 4 Ruddle, lane 5 Allenby, in 6 is Evans, in 7 is Rogers, in lane 8 McGonigal, and in lane 9 Ruby Coyle of East Anglia. The final heat then, aside from those 4 fastest heats that we saw in session 2A this morning. Let's see who has the advantage at the 50-meter stage. It is Allenby in lane 5, 0.2 seconds ahead of Rogers. Final couple of metres of the final heat of the women's 100-metre butterfly. The victory is going to come from lane 7. It's Faye Rogers of Aberdeen in 104.86. Great swim from lane 7. Could we have your attention, please? We need a representative from King's College to the timing suite, please. A representative from King's College to the timing suite immediately. Thank you.
And now we can concentrate solely on the next ball as the Lewis has concluded for session 2. All their work done for the morning. And we are here 6 of 10 to conclude the men's 100-metre butterfly. And Hank in front in the green cap. In lane number 2, that is Lily Dove representing Leeds. A couple of lanes inside Penny Reid, Aston Andrew. They talk to nobody's going to catch them. Best of the rest in 7, that's Ashton in 9, George Whiting, who will be 57.77. Quickest time we've seen for opening early 6 heats. That is Lily Dove representing Leeds. Great time for Dove.
Your attention, please. Could we have a representative from Sheffield Hallam and Bristol to the timing suite, please? Representatives from Sheffield Hallam and Bristol to the timing suite immediately. Thank you.